I can say from experience that that walking and talking and filming is actually a lot easier than it sounds. Because I posted a video yesterday, "Is Allison always right?" And
Yes,
it
I
was
saw that
just
video and I commented on it.
yeah, I saw that. It's
It's a
just
great video. Everyone should watch it.
He is
and it's
always
just
right.
basically me, um yeah, it's just basically me admitting that, in fact, I'm surprised your ears weren't burning, Brian, because I mentioned you in the video.
Yeah,
He didn't watch the video.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a lot. It's actually pretty easy because I walk since the weather is nicer now. I walk anyway, and so it sounds like this guy is gonna walk his dog anyway. And so really, the only difference, yeah, so the only difference is like you get a selfie stick, and then you put your cell phone or whatever on the selfie stick, and then you can get. I have a microphone for outdoors with a little wind protector. And like, I don't know, Allison, if you notice, people actually are on that path. And so I can see them way before like they walk by me. People are walking in my direction. They see me with the selfie stick talking to myself, and everybody knows what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
so they're
I
kind of,
mean,
well,
it's
they're
not a
actually kind of
mystery.
yeah, it's not a mystery. So they're smiling as they're walking up because they're like, "Oh, you're doing your video," and a lot of times they'll speak to me or whatever, and they'll just kind of walk right by me. But yeah, it's actually easy. I mean, you can get a decent selfie stick, and your phone's not that heavy, and it's just if you're comfortable talking to yourself, that's really the main thing.
That seems like the main thing, but I'm gonna tell you, there's a bigger barrier that I have, and it's this. I have, like, no appetite for consuming this kind of this kind of content. Like, no so it
So you
just
don't want to
seems
make it.
illogical. It seems
Yeah.
illogical for
Yes.
me to do it. Because I just,
Yes.
I just and I don't even understand how people have time, like, for it. Like, I personally, like, the whole world of the internet with the content creators and all of this type of stuff, I'm just people will tell me that such and such has millions of followers and all these views and all that. And I'm just like, "With who? Like, who for whom is this is a part of their life?" I don't get it.
Well, okay, so there are a
What they
couple of
do.
different things there. One, like I said, these are not walks that I do just to talk about Allison. I mean, these are walks. These are walks that I
It's
do.
always about me. I don't know.
That's right, yeah. But these are walks that I'm going to do anyway. And I mean, I like to walk, and I mean, part of the way that I think about my writing is to walk. And I'm fortunate I have this. I have that leads, pretty far, so I can walk for as long as I want to. And then right off of the path is this garden onto my garden, which is also pretty nice. And so I have like places to go, and they're pretty scenic. Like Allison's comment, well, part of it was, "Wow, it looks like a nice day." It was a wonderful day yesterday, actually. And so like I said, I mean, so the way that I'm doing it, and I suspect this guy that Deborah mentioned, is basically you're just adding the selfie stick in the phone to something that you're doing anyway. Like he's gonna walk his dog anyway, you know.
Yeah.
Now the
Talk to
people who
himself
have
anyways.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like sometimes I'm talking to myself. I was walking on this path before I started reporting myself, and I didn't realize that somebody was there because there's this Japanese couple that owns this really nice house right off of the path. And whenever I've started seeing them outside lately because the weather is nice, this elderly couple, and the guy was like doing some kind of maintenance on the gate or whatever. He has these deer gate, these really tall gates to keep the deer out. And I thought I was by myself, and the guy started rattling the gate. And I was like, "Whoa, what was that?" Turns out this is old Japanese guy watching me talk to myself. So I figured, okay, at least the selfie stick will give me an excuse to talk to
It's
myself. But
actually
the truth.
the best thing that's ever happened to psychopaths and people with schizophrenia. They can
You
just
mean the cell phone? Oh, right.
play or earbud or talking on a cell. They don't have to be talking to anybody. It's cover for them.
Right.
It's tremendous.
That's true.
You better
Now,
cut that
in
out of
terms
people.
of the millions of followers, though, I watched in fact, I mentioned this on Sunday. Galaxy Brain, this guy interviewed a guy who wrote an article about synthetic influencers. Remember I mentioned that?
Yep.
And one of the things that the guy who wrote the article talked about is the human influencers all talk about how labor intensive influencing actually is. It's not like what I just described where I'm gonna walk anyway. And so really the only thing I'm adding to it is the selfie stick and the cell phone. Um, what they're doing is they're trying to figure out how to get the algorithm to turn a video viral. And what I didn't know is that that could also hinge on like the lighting in the room or like, the environment that you're filming in and stuff like that. So they do all these different videos and different environments and different lighting. I thought it had to do with
I hope I don't seem to like decry their work or devalue it.
Go ahead,
I'm
you
mostly
cry.
saying just how lame I am that I just can't get with it. I just don't I'm
I
not
mean, it's sort of
absorbing
like
it.
it's yeah, it's like a full-time job almost. Like you have to, as Henry was pointing out about the whole shopping thing on TikTok that I had no idea about. I mean, you have to like really do your research. You really have to, you know, look at the trends, especially on TikTok. Like there are trending sounds and they only
yeah,
last sometimes for like a couple hours or like half a day or something. And if you use the trending sound, your video like will get more likes in the algorithm or something. Like I know that much and I didn't care. I just if I was putting in a sound, I'm like, "Oh, I like the Beatles. I'm putting in a Beatles song." Like so I don't know. I am not cut from influencer cloth, I think.
I totally hear what you're saying, man, about how labor intensive all this stuff is.
If
It's
you do
just,
it
it goes
right. If you do it poorly, it takes no time at all.
right. But it's like you still, regardless of whether you take the time or don't take the time, you still have the problem of finding an audience for your work.
My years as a singer, there were a lot of predatory people out there willing to take singers' money, and they never had any. to offer up workshops and audition workshops and everything. And sometimes they worked and sometimes, but there was a lot of predators. Assume there's a lot in the writing business too, isn't there?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, there are.
No, it's
My
funny you should say
So
that because I've got a message today from, I don't know, it was like it's a real publishing company, and it was the real name of the CEO. I'm gonna find, I deleted it. So
But that's AI spam.
yeah,
They're phishing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Nigel
I get
Newton of
I get
the
those all
Royal
the
Family.
time.
You know, yeah.
I've been getting
So yeah, there's a lot of predatory crap, I guess.
Oh, there's so much.
I've been getting these random, I guess you guys too, these random emails from authors, and they are real authors. And it says, "Hi, I'm so and so. I wrote this book." And you look it up, and they have a website and everything. I just love the idea of reaching out to other authors and asking them, how is it that you write? And what do you use? Where do you get your ideas? And I've gotten about
Yeah.
5 of these now.
Yeah.
mhm.
AI spam. Yep. They're just trying to scam you in some way.
Well, the thing is, I think they're playing on a reality that we all have to deal with, which is really hard to kind of break out and build an audience. I mean, it's just really hard. And, I've talked to authors who have been published traditionally, and they say that having a traditional publisher doesn't necessarily solve that problem, which is kind of the reason why. Yeah, which is kind of the reason why some traditional publishers actually look for you to have your own platform. So, in other words, they want you to kind of have your own audience before before they sign you. And I mean, whether or not there are benefits that they can offer you after you've already built an audience is a whole nother question. But building that audience, that's the difficult thing.
The best thing that I got from being traditionally published with Woodhall Press was that they took care of the nuts and bolts of printing and working with the printers and getting the thing out and the design of the book, and they actually sold the rights to the audiobook. That was what they did for me. And
Hmm.
they're nice people.
Okay.
They're really nice people. But they did that. As far as marketing, I really can't say they did much in that department at all. They
Well,
really
again,
mostly, yeah.
that kind of goes back to what I think I've mentioned this somewhere before, but I really got the impression that especially the big traditional publishers, what they had is all along is they have like most people who read on a regular basis is part of the kind of entertainment that they enjoy. They go to the same place, essentially looking for the same thing, not necessarily the exact same thing, but if they like mystery, they go to a particular place looking for mystery books. It might be a local, it might be a local bookstore, it might be their library or something like that. And just sticking with that example, what traditional publishers have is they'll have like a mystery catalog, and then they have these shelves in a bunch of different places. So they have relationships with I forget the name, Inlaid or Inland. Is that the name of the company that distributes to libraries?
I
And so they essentially have like
Ingram?
Ingram. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Ingram. And they essentially have like relationships that amount to shelves all over the country, at least, where people go looking for mystery. They have those shelves. And so really what they need is an author who's written a mystery that suits, that fits their standards, that's kind of an example of what people who read mysteries from their imprint, that's what they're looking for. And so if you've written that book, they can take that book, turn it into a product, and then get it on those shelves. And so people are much more likely, they're looking for mystery. This is the kind of thing that they're looking for, and they feel like they've discovered this new author. And to me, that's what the traditional publishers had. But they can't build your audience for you, is the impression I get. That's
Well,
something that
person
you have to
that knows
do
the most
yourself.
about this, most person who knows most about this is Allison. You should all, I mean, you've done both, right? Right, Allison?
That is true.
I have, yeah. So I've done self-publishing. I run a small press and have been traditionally published. I would say the thing is, whether you're self-published or whether you're traditionally published, you still are doing tons of the marketing yourself. So it really boils down to, and this is what I say to authors I work with, it really boils down to what your specific goals are, whether control is important for you because you have so much control if you are self-publishing. You get to choose your cover, you get to choose how fast it comes out, you get to choose, where you're putting it, right? But you also don't have the avenues to like what larger publishers do, like as you were saying, Henry, like getting it into a bookstore, right? So you have to do all of that yourself, or getting some of the bigger reviewers to take a look at it because a number of them won't look at self-published books still. So and then, if you have a publisher, it's much slower and you have less control over different aspects depending on the publisher.
I have to
So
tell you, I didn't get any help with reviews from Woodhall at all. I got everything myself for what it's worth. I guess it depends on the publisher.
it does. It definitely does. And also what you ask of them. So if if you ask for more stuff, they sometimes they'll give you more stuff. So
Yeah, but there are ways actually. I mean, for the audio book, there are ways. Well, actually, even for the published book, there are ways to get reviews. Like that I've been recently getting emails from this website called Book Blaze. Have you ever heard of Book Blaze? So Book Blaze, I found them because I was trying to figure out how to get reviews for my audiobooks. And and what Book Blaze does is they created a system where you have to earn points to be able to put your book on in their library,
Heard of this?
and then other people have trying to earn points. The way you earn points is you listen to the audiobook and then you give a review,
Yeah,
you
I've
know,
heard of
and
this.
they
there's a
confirm that.
number of,
There's
yeah.
multiple sites like that, I think. This
Yeah.
one just sounds like it's specific to audiobooks, which is cool.
It is specific to audiobooks, yeah, even though they do have printed books as well, like ebooks. But I think the main thing that they're doing is audiobooks because it's just easier to consume an audiobook than it is to commit to reading, and the number of points do correlate to the length of the book. So if the book is really long, you get more points. If the book is really short, you get fewer points. So that's one way to get reviews. Now, one thing I know, Allison, you're the first person I heard use the term book talk. And so I spent a little time on TikTok, and the impression I got, see, I didn't know anything about TikTok to begin with. And the first thing that I realized, because TikTok started bugging me about, well, now that you have your account, would you like to make money selling stuff? And I'm just like, no, I'm really only here to promote my writing and to build, a platform and all that kind of stuff. And I started to realize that the incentive for a person to promote books, novels, is really based on they get a percentage of the sales if a person were to click their link to a book and then buy it. And so that's their incentive. It's just like any other product that's in the what is it, TikTok shop? Because that was also confusing to me at first. I'm like, what is this TikTok shop thing? And basically what it is it's a way to take the relationship that TikTok has established with all of these sellers, now I think to some extent including Amazon, to take the relationship they've established with all these sellers and connect it to your TikTok account, so that then you can basically become a salesman, or an influencer. But essentially what influencers are salesmen, selling all these products on TikTok. I don't know, Allison, does that jive with your experience? Because I get the impression you spent some
It sounds
time
like,
on TikTok, but
honestly, I have, but I'm sure I did not do it the right way. I would definitely not consider myself an expert. I just got on it because, the kids are all on it these days. And I was like, oh, I should do this. And I did. And people like some of my videos, but I did not go in depth. And I don't know if I was trying to sell anything. I guess I was trying to make them like my videos. That was it.
well, I
But
mean, that's the
yeah.
thing is the way you make money, or at least the impression I got is the way people are making money on TikTok is they set up a TikTok shop account,
Yeah.
and then they
I never did
basically
that.
You never, yeah, I mean, it's sort of a pain in the butt. And I didn't expect that to be part of the deal. I just figured I was creating yet another social media profile. That's what I thought. And TikTok Shop is a whole separate thing. But then once I sort of came to understand what TikTok Shop was all about, I was just like, oh, that's the reason why you have people who are excited about like this book or that book. They're excited about it because, every person who uses the link connected to their account, who uses that link to go to the book's, product page and then purchases the book, they get a percentage of that sale. That's why they're so
See, I
excited.
don't know if it was always like that though. I feel like book talk started, I don't know, when it started, it was just people talking about books. And then, because they were talking so much about it, the books themselves, people would go out and buy them. I don't know if there were links at the beginning. Maybe this is new. I was never that into it. Deborah or Brian, are you on?
No,
I have an
No.
account, but like everything else, I made an account, decided I was definitely going to do some
yeah.
marketing or self promotion on there, and like never went back, like never even thought about it until this conversation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
On a social media rabbit hole at one point when I had gotten my Threads account. And I
yeah,
decided, and that's where I have the most followers. I have a couple thousand followers on Threads.
really.
But the problem is that I had made a choice that I only wanted it to be book people because I didn't want anybody else on my friends list or whatever I didn't want to see anything about anything. I didn't want politics. I didn't want animals. I didn't want home things or cooking things. I wanted books. And what ended up happening was I had a lot of authors. All those people are authors. There are no readers, not really in any meaningful way. And
That's right.
I was posting, I was going on that goddamn thing every night. I would spend my night in bed doing social media posts on that, Insta and Facebook. Those are my three. And answering everybody that said anything to me and trying to engage. And it was debilitating. So around that time, I got TikTok, Book Talk also, and I thought, fuck this. I'm not going to do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Now, having said that, I've been watching a couple of authors who are really gaining a lot of traction because of how they're treating at least Instagram and Facebook. They do a lot of videos. There's this one guy who does this walking video. Every couple of days, he walks and he talks, walking and talking. And I think it's really helped him a lot. So I think it's a question of just consistently doing it, which I think we all know.
What is he walking and talking
Look at that.
about, if I may ask?
Walking and talking. What he does is he's actually very talented. His name is Sam Rebeline, Rebelein. He's a horror writer and he's also a theater person. He's approaching his social media and his marketing as one might approach being a performer. He's the guy who ended up scheduling a 4 performance evening of reading his book. He got a theater. It was either the Stanza bookstore, it was another theater, and he got 3 of his theater friends together and they read chunks of his newest book that was about to come out. And I thought it was a brilliant idea. I mean, they didn't act it, they read it. And from what I can see, he did great. He sold books. He's interesting to me. So what does he talk about? He'll talk about, well, we're walking and talking today in Poughkeepsie, he says. And I was thinking the way I used to write, and then he'll tell you that. And I've really grown as a writer. Or those of you out there who just don't know how to start, it's that kind of stuff. It's just, you end up feeling as if he's a friend of yours because you're going on a walk with him as he's walking his dog. That's his shtick. He's on Facebook. Check it out. Sam
Well,
Line.
so does the headline matter? Because that's kind of what I was experimenting with the "Is Allison always right?" I thought that might be a headline that might draw people. You think that's a great headline?
As long as the answer is yes.
No, so I saw a headline, "Is Allison always right?" I'm going to want to know. It's sort of like in the same category as "Everybody hates Raymond." Everybody loves Raymond. It's not.
That was a nice Freudian slip there.
No, no, that's a great title. That's brilliant.
Well, I mean, so far what I can see is because in the beginning I talk about how Alice and I disagree a lot, and I mentioned the AI video, and so in addition, I saw your comment, Allison, how could I not like this? uh, you know, but the other thing I noticed is I've started getting some engagement again on that AI video, which was like 3 or 4 videos ago. So I haven't really noticed any movement on that video until today. And I think it's because I mentioned you and AI and how we disagree about AI. You're skeptical and I'm not nearly as skeptical as you are. And
Also,
so
I posted about it today.
did you? I didn't see that on Substack. Did you post it on Substack
Well,
or
I restacked it. Is that how you say it? Restacked it? I am
you
not a Substack.
wait, which did you restack the video? Allison is
AI
always right.
video. No, the AI video I restacked. And then I also wrote about it on my website. And
Okay.
I am just so terrible at promoting things.
I put the link on the HWA newsletter, but I don't think the newsletter has come out yet.
Okay.
So you'll see like a boost then too.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I still haven't figured out exactly why certain things will sit for a little while and then start getting a lot of views and then all of a sudden stop. I haven't figured that out, but that does
Well,
happen.
Honestly, if you mention AI, so many people are interested because it's changing so fast and it's affecting so many people's jobs. Like, I belong to a writers group where, the leader of the group, it's based in Edmonton, the leader of the group will sometimes email interesting articles. And so he recently emailed an article about the whole shy girl thing that we were talking about, how is, pulled from shelves, all that kind of stuff. And it sparked the longest thread that has ever, as far as I can tell, that has ever happened in this group. Like people are just like, some people are like, AI is just a tool. We should use it everywhere. And other people are like, never AI, hashtag never AI. I don't know. And so like people are just like really butting heads on this one and it's still going. And this is like, I don't know, days later. So I feel like, just put AI in every title and someone will be like,
good.
what are they talking about?
Yeah.
So maybe I'll label this video a conversation about AI, or Henry and Allison disagree about AI, or something like that.
Well, conflict sells the story. It moves the story forward, So
Well, the reason why I asked about the headline is because, I guess going to what Brian was saying about he would never watch these videos. I don't watch television. All I watch is YouTube videos. And so in some cases, they're clips or episodes that were aired on television at one point. But in most cases, it's just stuff that people somewhere decided to post. A lot of it is or travel videos. Like I've been watching a lot of videos that are posted by people in Hong Kong. Um, and some of them have that aspect that we were talking about where the person is literally talking about their experience in Hong Kong while they're walking through the city. And so, it makes it sort of easier to watch because you're getting both, you're getting the visual of the experience of walking through the city of Hong Kong, and then you're getting an information that, or at least tone about like what it's like to be in Hong Kong. But some of the videos that I've noticed, they will get you to start watching the video because of the headline. There's this really young couple. I think they grew up in Sedona, Arizona. I believe their channel is One Pack Wonders or Backpack Wonders or something like that. And they come up with pretty good headlines. But when you click the video, like the headline might be something like, "Everybody in Manchester told us to do this." And so you're like, I wonder what everybody in Manchester told them to do. So you click the video, and it always starts off with like a very calm moment where, this is the cutest 20-something-year-old couple you've ever seen. It's like the guy is just totally in love with this girl, and she's really sweet. And, and there's either him focused on her or her focused on him. And so you got to wait 30 minutes before you even get to something that's vaguely related to the headline. And then every time you get there, it's like, well, this isn't something that everybody in Manchester told them. That's just a really good headline. And they've gotten me to watch 30 minutes of this video with that headline.
Wow. So if that was not my argument, like against doing it, I think it's clearly an effective strategy. That's just my explanation as my main barrier. My main barrier is I don't think of this stuff because I don't absorb it,
Well, you do have.
And I probably have a bad instinct for what I would, but like what I would think of as
Right.
content because I don't watch the content.
Well, it would take someone who is native to the content to basically film you, because you probably do have a lot of, you probably do stuff that is, you know, content positive or useful. You just don't realize it. And so you're not native to any of the platforms. But like if one of your kids decides to like film you, you know,
But
dad,
I try to encourage them to be my social media liaison, but nobody will. They're,
But it
they
doesn't
they've
work, does
inherited
it,
a little bit
Brian?
too much from me, I guess.
so what, you try to do the same thing, Allison, try to get your kids to,
Oh my goodness, my kids are just tired of it. They're like, "Mom, leave me alone. I don't want to tell you how to do social media." I mean, they're not really on social media. They're on some stuff, right, with their friends, but yeah, they as soon as I come up to them and ask them a question about it, they're like, "Nope."
okay, I got you. Yeah, but I mean, I think you're right, being native to it. So in my case, I think in terms of YouTube because that's what I consume, YouTube. And also Substack. So Substack and YouTube make sense to me. What doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, like TikTok, I just don't relate to TikTok. In fact, it's kind of irritating because when you don't log into TikTok, if you have the app installed on your device, it bugs you to kind of come and, see something, and it does it all kinds of ways. It's just annoying.
In the spirit of Allison is always right, I loved her, all kidding aside, I loved her suggestion, Writers Talking Shit. I thought that was a tremendous title for you. Tremendous. I would be curious about a podcast like that. Writers Room, Writers Talking Shit. I think it's very cool. You don't have to say, you could put an asterisk where the I is.
That's
You know what
true.
I'm saying?
Oh, you should change your name again.
Change my
Writers
name?
Talking Shit. No, no, not your name, the name of your podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
To Writers Talking Shit.
I
And
love
see how it responds. Like, I don't
really
know.
just to see, do a trial run, see if it does anything.
Well, I mean, but the thing so it sounds like you haven't watched the videos of me and Christine talking because we're not really talking shit.
It
It's a
doesn't
very it's
matter.
a very different conversation.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's just
We
us. We
discussed.
always talk shit.
Yeah. We just discussed. There are people putting titles.
Us.
You even said it, Henry. There's a couple that put this title, What Manchester Told Us to Do, and you watched it. It is a hook. It is a maybe it's a bait and switch, but it's just a way of just making them curious. Just saying. It's not my podcast. Has to resonate with you. But
Yeah, that's
Allison
true.
But if you don't take it, then Deborah's going to start a podcast called
no,
Writers Talking Shit.
Talking shit.
that's how I feel about podcasts. I can barely write my next draft. I'm going to do a podcast.
I know. It's so much.